have paradigms and roadblocks that prevent us from excelling, and they can be real or imagined. Welcome to Beyond Bricks, a podcast that will give you the ability to break through those walls. Here's Dr. Nathan Unruh.
Welcome, everyone. You're in for a real treat today. I have a gentleman with me that I've been following for a long time. He is a pastor of Embrace Church here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He also has a podcast of his own that is fantastic. I highly recommend, called The Conversation. And we're going to pull apart some aspects of leadership, but I know with this gentleman, we'll end up probably going all over the place, right? Yeah. So welcome Adam Weber to this conversation. Adam, thanks for being here.
Yeah, honored to be here. Think so highly of you. Just on the personal level, you've had a great impact on my life, Nathan, and so I'm really, really grateful and honored to be here today.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So tell us about Adam Weber.
So kind of Cliff Notes version, born and raised South Dakota kid, never wanted to be a pastor, didn't even think about it, was drawn to the business side of things. I've always been drawn to marketing and leadership, and so went for business and marketing. The summer before my senior year of college, I filled in for a pastor up in Wahpeton, North Dakota. And within the first week, it was like, oh no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I finished my business degree the next year, married the pastor's daughter that I filled in for. So it was a win-win there. And then went to seminary out in Kentucky. I had no intent of coming back. I love South Dakota, but I don't like January through March. Came back, started a church called Embrace when I was 24. I'm 42. And it's been quite the journey ever since. So married, my wife, I have 4 kids, 3 dogs. That's a little bit about myself. So,
wow. Okay. So I've got to pull apart something here that I want to make sure the listeners know. What town were you born in and raised in South Dakota?
Yeah. So born and raised in Millbank, South Dakota, then hopped to Clark, and then hopped to Watertown. From there, so.
Okay, so here's why I think this is fascinating. Millbank.
There's been a few people from there.
This little small town of Millbank has birthed guys like Adam Weber, tremendous leader.
Yeah.
Who else? Tell who else has been there.
Tom Patterson.
Tommy John.
Kalen
DeBoer. Roll Tide.
Yeah.
University of Alabama head coach right now.
Oh, and there's so many others too. There's a guy named Max Gazenbuck who is a longtime part of Valley Queen Cheese up there as well. Just one of those legends too. Yeah. So it's a community that has leadership in its bones. When you look back, you're like, gosh, there's all these different people from a Max Gazenbuck to Tom Patterson. It's pretty amazing.
I think it is amazing.
It is.
For a little small town in South Dakota that's got that. So, I've had the opportunity to listen to your podcast. You've interviewed some tremendous leaders. I've had the opportunity to hear you speak on multiple different occasions. I mean, you stand in front of your congregation every week and talk about all different things to help just people in their faith walk.
Yeah.
What I want to concentrate on our conversation today, with starting Embrace at 24, and even I saw your body language there when you said, "Oh, I knew, God's calling me to be a pastor," right? You were so, but you followed that call. You've seen some great leaders, not so great leaders. You're a student of leadership.
Yeah.
What are some of the key attributes you have found that make up great leaders?
Oh, when I think about leaders that I look up to, there's different shapes and forms. Some consistent things people that I want to follow is passion. You can tell they love what they do, and they would do it whether they got paid or not. Even Coach Stiglmeyer from SDSU, being around him, I was just with him the other day, and he said, I loved my job every single day. So he's just passionate. So I look for passion. I look for humility. It's being around those leaders who are at the top of their game, and yet they're still asking questions. How are you doing that? What do you know that I don't know? Another thing that's critical for me, both faith-wise and leadership-wise, is they're filled with faith. They trust God for big things. They don't want to do things halfway. They want their life and each day to matter and count. I think for me, that's been something that I just love. Two specific mentors that come into mind when it comes to being filled with big faith. I also love the leader that's quick to show their limp. They're quick to show, hey, here's where I've done some things wrong. Here's where I've taken the wrong turn. Here's when I haven't been a great leader. For me, every single one of my mentors leads with their limp, and they're quick to say, hey, gosh, I've learned some things, but let me tell you this hard season. I've learned some things, but let me tell you where my weak point's at. And so those are the qualities that I look to, and I also hope to model myself. When I think about a rough leader that I've been around, it's been myself at times, as far as like, okay, here's where what I don't want to be. And I think about different moments and times when I haven't been the leader that I want to be. And yet, thankfully, we're given another day to improve that, to grow. And that's been one thing that's been fun about my leadership. I look back at when I was 24. I always say I wouldn't let my 24-year-old self borrow the keys to my son's vehicle that's got 100,000 miles on it. It's like, oh my gosh, I was clueless. And yet it's fun to be able to look back and like, okay, God, I'm still a work in progress, but you've grown me and I've learned, and I'm still on this journey of following you.
So let's pull those apart. I'm going to go deeper.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, I love this.
I'm going to push on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Passion.
Yeah.
Humility.
Yep.
Showing where you're limp.
Yep.
What was the other one?
Big faith.
Big faith. Okay. So let's pull those apart. Let's start with passion.
Yep.
Now, I would contend this, and Adam, I'd love to hear your take on it.
Yeah.
The word passion oftentimes is described as a blissful feeling, or I just love it.
Yeah.
But when you look at the root of the word passion, it means to suffer for.
Oh.
If we look at the passion of Christ, I don't know if he really wanted to go on that cross.
No.
Right? And when he cried out to God, right? So, but he did it to suffer for.
Yeah.
He loved us so much to do it for suffer for. So I think in today's culture, we oftentimes use that word passion.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I think it's a great sign of a leader.
Yep.
But I love this so much. I will suffer the good and the bad
100%.
to get an outcome.
Yep.
So speak to that a bit. Do you agree with that statement?
I totally agree with that. And I think you don't get the good without the bad. And the good is so much better because of the trials and the hardships and the valleys that you've gone through.
Yeah.
I've never loved my job more now. And I say that with no rose-colored glasses left. I mean, it's all the bumps and bruises and hurt and pain and blood, sweat, and tears that you put into it that leads to what that is. And I think that's where true passion, you can have a high for a bit and it wears out. But true passion is something that it's like a fire, and it's like a furnace that you keep tending to and keep stoking. I sit by my fireplace literally every single day in winter. You got to take care of it. You got to grow it. When I think about passion for me, I always tell people I need to stay close to pain. I need to stay close. As a pastor, it's easy to lose my passion if I don't realize why this is good news that I'm talking about on Sunday. And so you stay close to suffering. You stay close to this morning. I got a text message from a buddy of mine whose dad is at the end of hospice. And that just fires it just fuels me. And so for me, I think passion is something that grows. You have to care for it. You have to stoke it to keep that fire growing. Because otherwise, it's just a cheap high that comes and goes. Yeah. It's just like one tick and the honeymoon's over and then it's over. It's like, oh no, that's not passion. Passion is this deep purpose that just keeps growing, and you go through highs and lows and valleys, and you come out on the other side and you're like, I'm still fired up about what I get to do.
So we could end the conversation right here. Because what you just said something that gave me a whole other perspective.
Yeah.
Stay close to pain.
Stay close to
Passion is staying close to pain.
Yeah.
And being okay with pain.
Yep.
Blistering up.
Yep.
Using that as a litmus test. Am I really in it to win this thing?
Yep. And not just even the pain of others, but even my own need. You know, even my own brokenness. Like just yesterday, I felt like I had a moment where I wasn't the best leader that I wanted to be. And so when I was sitting with the Lord this morning, reflecting on it, it was just like, Lord, I need you. I just need you. And it wasn't even a bad moment, but it wasn't my best. And so even for me, I'm like, oh, it reminds me of my why. It reminds me of what I get to do instead of have to do. And you stay close to pain, it just fuels that fire. This is the why. This is the why. This is the why.
Okay, that's awesome. So let's talk about, let's just go right into faith.
Yeah.
So sometimes we get in conversations and people that are listening to this, you know, sometimes will hear me talk about my faith.
Yeah.
And faith is a big deal. I know to you it's a big deal to me. And whether you share our faith or not,
Yep.
faith is a word that I think it doesn't get pulled apart enough. So talk to me about faith a bit.
Oh, I love this question. I was once talking with a rabbi about the word faith, and he said, as a good Jewish person, you would never say, I have faith in this chair, and just say it. He said, no, as a good God-fearing Jew, you would say, I have faith in this chair. You would physically sit when you said it. It's because it's an active thing. It's not just I have faith in God and I say it as a thing. It's like, no, I have faith in God and I'm going to put the weight of my body on him. Like I'm going to put my trust in him. And that's different. I think we throw around
It's active faith.
Oh, it is. It's trusting faith.
Trusting, yeah.
You know, it's like and you know, the more you develop that, the more trust you have. And you know, I've sat in a bunch of chairs in my life, and most of them, 99.999, hold me. And when you with God, the more you use that muscle, the more that builds. And so that's something. For me, my trust in God is foundational in everything that I do. And that was before becoming a pastor. I never thought I'd be a pastor. I just knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life, which I thought would be in the business world, telling as many people as I could about Jesus and what it looks like to put your faith and trust in him. And so for me, each day, one of the most critical parts of my day is starting with the Lord and just sitting with him and reminding myself of who he is, what his promises are. So there's that. And then there's surrounding myself with people that have that same true north in their life. And then seeing them sit in the chair and over again and like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that this is even possible. And something changes when we, instead of focusing on me, myself, and I, we put our focus on him and what his ways are, what his promises are, what his agenda is, not mine. So I could talk forever about this. But faith is active.
So I love that. And I think we got to think about faith like you're talking about differently. I love the analogy of the chair. I mean, that's awesome.
You got to sit.
You got to sit. That's a great analogy. I also think of faith in, you know, because the minute sometimes people will put up their blinders because they think now we're making it a religious conversation.
Yep.
There's also the faith in your team.
Yes.
The faith in your vision.
Yes.
The faith in yourself.
In yourself. Yep.
Believing in yourself. In a world of, we have more antidepressants and more people struggling with lots of different things. It's that isolation. It's that loneliness people feel.
Yes.
Well, there's a faith in God
So
made me
good.
perfect just how I am, and I got to have faith in that. My skills, abilities, and talents, I have an impact I get to have.
Yeah. Oh, it's game changing. For us as leaders, our worth doesn't come from our success or failure of today. There's a greater worth and purpose on our lives. And leadership can often be lonely. And for me in those moments, that is when the faith side of me comes out even more. It's like, okay, God, I'm your son. And you've said I'm made in your image. I'm feeling this way and this way about myself, but I'm gonna trust what you've said. And then faith in your team. My goodness. And our teams can feel when we have faith in them or not.
Guilty of not always having it.
And same here.
Trying to be the control freak. Trying not to allow autonomy. Trying to...
Yeah, guilty.
My way or the highway.
Oh, if they were here right now, they'd be like, this guy's going to talk about this. But if we want our teams to flourish, we have to clearly put our faith in them of saying, no, I do trust you. And we can go so much further together than me trying to do everything, which I've been guilty of in the past. It's taken years for me to realize, hey, Weber, you can do that, sure, if you want to, and we'll get however far. But if you help us all to fly, just think about what's possible. And that's definitely been a growing edge for me, is what does it look like to truly trust the team. And what's great is when you have a great team, you begin to quickly realize, oh, they're 10 times better than you ever will be, Weber. And so that's just foolish. And so that's pretty amazing to be at that place right now, just at the church. I mean, I've been telling people we have the most talented team we've ever had right now, but even more than that, we have the best humans we've ever had on our team right now. And
okay, so stay there for a second.
Yeah.
And let's wrap this faith piece up with what you just said. But we have the best humans. So the value is not, your value is not what you do.
Yep.
The value is who you are.
Who you are.
And when you have faith in who you are, faith in whose you are, big deal.
Big deal. Oh, huge deal.
Foundational component of great leaders.
Yes. It's game changing. And that, I mean, you can find great talent, and great talent is awesome. But you find great heart and with talent, and it's game changing.
Yeah.
Great talent without character, without great humans, is actually dangerous. It's scary. Before it was like, oh, look for the most talent. It's like, no, look for the best human that has the talent. And there's no telling what's possible.
I love it. Okay, let's transition. I'm going to take the next two.
Yeah.
Because I think they go together.
Okay.
Humility and showing when you limp.
Yeah.
So pull apart humility along and piece together. Don't you agree the two go together?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think anybody who's led for any length of time begins to have more and more humility. You know, it's almost like the version of me before I had kids. I had a lot of parenting advice.
Yeah.
And then you have kids and it's like, okay, well, this is different than I expected. And so, I mean, life just has a way of humbling you. And it just does. And so, so I think when you, it's interesting. I've noticed leaders are slow to criticize other leaders. You know, a good way to find the person who's not led much is they're quick to give opinions. They're quick to quarterback from the couch.
Yeah.
You know, because they've never done it. Because when you've led, you know that there's all these different things that you don't know about.
A lot of dynamics.
Oh, you're just like, man, there are a lot of things. And also, there's a whole lot of things that leader can't say that they wish they could say that they can't say.
But they're humble enough not to say it.
100%.
They don't have to be right.
Yeah, so it's so that humility, when I find that in somebody, often I'm like, what do you do? Because I bet you're downplaying yourself. You're not showing all your cards right away. Like, who are you? So I think just life and leadership has a way of bringing humility. And
so
then
let me stay there for a second,
yeah.
okay? Because I don't want you to miss what Adam just said, because there's a component of humility that I'm hearing is you may want to say something. You may be thinking it.
Yep.
But what I hear with a humble leader is that they have self-regulation.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They're regulating themselves that, is this really a hill to die on? Yep. Do I really need to go and do this right now? Am I quick to criticize? Or just, you know what, pump the brakes?
Yeah, it's that pause. I had a close friend who was my first full-time hire at the church. He's still there. He said, Adam, what's different about you is you pause more. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. He's like, in the past, you would have been quicker to speak, but now I just see a pause in a good way. Like you can tell you're thinking.
That's a great compliment.
It really was.
Yeah.
I was like, thank God.
I haven't got that yet. I haven't got that
well,
compliment yet.
Thank God I'm growing. But it's just that, that key awareness that you don't know everything. And I think this ties back to the faith component again of just realizing who you are before God in a really healthy, wonderful way of the world doesn't revolve around me, it revolves around Him. And if you follow me, I always tell people, because people are quick, oh, Adam, you've done this and all this. And I tell people, you follow me, you'll be quickly disappointed. You follow Him, you'll never be disappointed. So I think there's just that built-in part of humility. But then they lead with the limp. We're drawn to leaders that have a limp. They've been through battles. They got scars. And I think the longer you get in life, that's what you look for in somebody else. Oh my gosh, I noticed this limp over here. Can you tell me about that? And I think there's wisdom in those battles as well. And I just thank God for the mentors in my life who are willing to share that limp. That makes you so approachable as a leader. It's winsome as a leader. I know in my mentors, that just draws me to them even more. You think it's a sign of weakness. It's actually a super sign of strength. It's just like, wow. It was just like as a kid, my dad's my hero to this day. I look back, one of the defining qualities that I learned from my dad is his willingness to say, I'm sorry. It's like Superman says he's sorry. Like, wow, that's a powerful thing. Superman's still learning and growing and wishes he would have maybe approached some things differently. That's a powerful thing. That's not a sign of weakness. It takes a grown, mature leader and adult to say you're sorry. And so I just think that's a sign of strength and wisdom. And yeah, we think it's going to devalue us. It does just the opposite. And every great leader that I've been around, honestly, is willing to quickly share that limp. And it's just like, whoa, you too. How about that? So it's a powerful thing.
Yeah. So as I'm listening to you and I'm hearing you talk about, just say sorry more, forgive more, offer more grace, never stop learning, learn to self-regulate. There's a lot of things that you've just packaged up in. Show your limp.
Yeah.
Be humble. Never stop learning. Never stop listening. The compliment you got on pause. Hey, how about I pause and think for a second so my limbic brain can catch up to my neocortical brain before I just, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of great stuff there.
Yeah.
So when I look at those attributes, all great attributes, and as you're listening, write these down. Start reflecting on, hey, when I rub the fog off the mirror and look at myself in the mirror, how am I doing in those areas?
Yep.
So what is some practical advice you give to leaders, like on their routine, because a lot of people think, well, I don't know if I'm not a leader, but I want to be, and I would contend everybody's a leader.
I would too.
And what are some practical things you would give to help people become better leaders?
So there's going to be some faith mixed into this. So take or leave what's helpful for you. For me, my time with God in the morning is absolutely essential. So I'm an early riser now. Wasn't always the case. I get up 5:15 every single morning, eat breakfast, talk with my dog, which is helpful. Yeah. I call him my therapist every so often.
Because they don't argue back.
They never argue back.
They're always happy to see you.
They are. But then I spend just time reading Scripture. So I'll read Scripture, and then from that, I just have a journal where I'll just take it out and I'll just begin to process things. Again, you can do that with the Lord. You can do that, honestly, just with even yourself, but just different things you're wrestling with. And so I'll write it down, different things, people that I'm praying for, situations that I have coming up, different feelings. Like why am I anxious? I think that self-reflection is so critical as a leader. Why am I feeling this way? And that can be scary if you've never really delved into why am I, I'm embarrassed or Why am I well, I'm sad. I had a loss, and so I think there's some really helpfulness of just processing that. So I process that as well. A huge thing for me is goal setting. So I'm a big John Acuff fan. All It Takes Is a Goal is a book that I can't recommend enough. And so I have several goals that I pursue each day. So those are top of mind that I'm pursuing. Another thing that I've started once I get to work is I have a quick 30-minute meeting with my assistant, which has been really, really helpful. Honestly, that's thanks to you. You recommended buy back your time. I've done it, and my assistant and I jump into that each day. And then really blocking my time has been really, really critical. Figuring out when are your green zones? When do you have a lot of energy? When are your red zones? I didn't value that highly enough when I first started. I just kind of, well, this is what everybody does. A pastor takes off their Monday. My Monday was a horrible day for me to take off. I was terrible at relaxing. I had all these things from Sunday morning that I wanted to implement. Well, now my weekend is Friday, Saturday, and that is the perfect time for me. I really want to unwind, kind of just breathe before the services on Sunday. So I think evaluating that is really, really helpful. And then for me, something that's really powerful is just whether it's a walk at night with my wife or a walk by myself with the dog, listening to a podcast, really just having that time for reflection on the day, what went well, what didn't. Those are really, really helpful. I think the other thing that I would add in too is just constant learning. I mean, I'm a huge learner. Whether it's a podcast, whether it's a book, I'm constantly reading something. I feel like I can't read enough. And then the superpower of friendship and being able to talk things through with someone other than your spouse or roommate is just really, really helpful for me. And for me, I have 2-3 different people one specifically that I talk to every single day. So whether it's about work, a conversation that didn't go well, or I'm worrying about, I just think friendship is such a key to leadership that we really undervalue. So those are some different
lot
things.
of stuff there. So I'm gonna pull some of that apart. So as you're listening to this, Adam just gave you a lot of great stuff. And here's what I heard.
Yeah.
Time to think.
Oh.
So you're starting your day early. You're taking time to reflect. And I know for many people, and I know myself, this has been important, that time to think and reflect versus the first thing you do is look at your phone or you jump on your computer. Now your brain's hijacked by somebody
100%.
else. So taking that time to think, reflect, pray, read, learn, all of those things are to be stuff, not just to do stuff.
So good.
That's what I heard you say. Did I get it right?
100%. And I think to even take the faith component, if faith isn't your thing, being grounded. I can tell when I'm grounded and when I'm frazzled. And my wife can tell, my kids can tell, my staff can tell, because I'm frazzled. I haven't taken the time, get centered, get your 2 feet on the ground. There's a foundation there that you just start instead of coming in and you've already got 3 out of 4 engines on the plane out or on fire. I mean, people can feel that. So I think just really pausing, gathering yourself. And
so before you put your head in the clouds, you better get your feet on the ground.
Yeah. It's like okay, here, and just to process through things. Okay, I got this meeting later today, and I'm nervous about it. Okay, we'll process that. What are you nervous about? What could possibly? Here, what are my priorities for the day? Instead of jumping into my phone and having 18 people tell me what my priorities are for the day, what are my priorities for the day? Well, I want to achieve this. And I want to get ahead on this project because I know if I don't, I'm going to be frazzled. And so it's just gathering yourself. I think it's just critically important. And if you got kids and if you're got a full life, it's just that time to take a breath. You're not a robot. I would argue you're a person with a soul. And yet for me, oftentimes I treat myself like a robot. And specifically, if I don't have that time, it's a robot. The moment you wake up, immediately doing. It's because you don't have a soul, you just plug it in. And it's no, you are a person. And so to have time to gather yourself and just be is critical.
I love it. Adam, this is great stuff. I mean, so many great things. And as you listen to this today, I encourage you to go and think about those attributes that Adam presented today. Think about the routine. Go and do some self-reflection. Because every one of us as leaders, we have to be intentional about our leadership. And he just gave us a whole bunch of wisdom that we can take and now take action with it. So thanks again, Adam.
Oh, thank you so much. This is awesome.
We all have paradigms and roadblocks that prevent us from excelling, and they can be real or imagined. Welcome to Beyond Bricks, a podcast that will give you the ability to break through those walls. Here's Dr. Nathan Unruh.